Welcome to our joint webinar of Dynatrace and Derdack SIGNL4, where we will show the integration between both platforms, so Dynatrace and SIGNL4, and focus especially on mobile alerting and anywhere incident response. So the objective of SIGNL4 is to inform responsible people about critical situations as quickly and as reliably as possible, and no matter where they are. As you see on this slide, one thing that is quite important here is that it is not only about IT alerting, as you might think when it comes to Dynatrace and SIGNL4, but it can also be production or IoT alerting. Yeah, so SIGNL4 can be used for all kinds of critical situations where you need to inform and notify the right people at the right time. Of course, today our focus is on IT alerting, SecOps, DevSecOps, DevOps, and yeah, we will see more in the demonstration. All right, this is how it generally looks like. Yeah, so on one hand side, on the left hand side here, you see all the backend systems, and that might be Dynatrace. Yeah, it might be monitoring, DevOps, whatever IT tools. It might be production tools, and it might also be a human being calling a service hotline or some manually triggered alert. And that information or these kind of data go into SIGNL4 using several APIs. And from there, SIGNL4 decides who is responsible for that specific problem at that given time. And then the alert goes out to the responsible team or to the responsible user using different communication channels. Yeah, for example, app push, or for example, SMS text or a voice call, which is a good thing to wake somebody up at night. Besides the alerting part or the pure alerting part, there are also some other related functionalities part of SIGNL4, like duty scheduling. Yeah? So the famous duty scheduling, you know, many companies use Excel for. That is available in a very convenient way in SIGNL4, and it is used to route the alert information to the right people. Another thing is in-app or in-alert collaboration or in-alert chat, where you can communicate with your team members about a certain issue, yeah, where you can ask for help, where you can see other team members, contact them, where you can also post information about an incident, yeah, and then people in other shifts can see what was going on. And what we see today is also a two-way integration. So everything you do in the app is reflected back into SIGNL4, into Dynatrace. All right, then, yeah, here what you can see is all things related to incident management and critical infrastructure that are covered by SIGNL4. Yeah, so the main part, of course, is alerting. That's a typical request when customers approach us and say, yeah, listen, we need to get alerts for critical incidents. Yeah. Another thing, interestingly, is, and I don't want to all the details here. And another interesting thing is that some customers also approach us and say, listen, we get too many alerts or too many notifications, and we are annoyed, and we have users that have alert fatigue and users that are even frustrated with their duty. And also this is covered here. So to make the life of an on-call engineer as easy as possible to reduce false alerts, for example. And I think this is what I can cover in 5 minutes or a bit more. And we will see all of this more in detail in the demo session. And now give a warm round of virtual applause to Rob from Dynatrace. Rob Jan.
Yes, hi. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so yes, Rob from Dynatrace. So we're a partner, and we're excited to be talking about incident management because as Dynatrace has an observability platform, just a little bit about Dynatrace. If you haven't heard of us, we're a publicly traded company in the New York Stock Exchange. We have over 3,000 employees now, as well as over 3,000 enterprise customers, and it's because we have this breadth of coverage from the traditional application monitoring and end user experience, into infrastructure. And as companies are modernizing their applications from on-prem and into the cloud, really full support for all of those hyperscaler, tracing, alerting, CloudWatch metrics, those types of things all come into the native platform. And really what the heart of Dynatrace is a big data model to create a common topology model of your infrastructure as well as your application end to end. And that's really what's going to feed into the incident management process. So if we can properly monitor what's happening end to end, properly monitor the different aspects of the architecture from the end user to the infrastructure to the traces that are going through things end to end, that's really what's going to inform problem detection, and which is the heart of Dynatrace. So part of the Dynatrace, and maybe that's next slide, Ron. I think I have a little slide on this one, is our AI engine, and then this will lead into how it informs the incident management process. So Ron, I don't know if there's another slide after this one, if you don't mind flipping. But what I'll talk about it is, and there's a little bit of animation, so it's kind of fun. But what Dynatrace is doing in our data model is creating a real-time topology map. So we have layers of our application all enabled through a combination of our one agent technology, which is auto-discovering the host processes and applications, as well as ingested metrics and traces, whether it comes from open telemetry, which is something that a lot of organizations are adopting as they move to cloud native architectures, as well as informed from a variety of on-premise type of tools. So whether it's your F5 switches coming on the network, for example, or Citrix, or even the mainframe, those also feed into the same model. So when a Dynatrace problem, and this is going to get into an alert versus a problem. So when Dynatrace opens up a problem, it's as the result of continuous analysis of the topology metrics, events that are happening in your environment to assess the business impact as well as the service impact and application impact. So when we have a Dynatrace problem and feed that over to create an incident itself, there's a lot of context about that it can help you prioritize that issue, whether it's from the number of users impacted, if it's a production or non-production environment, as well as getting into the individual service that may be impacted, so that can be routed to the right support engineers. Then really the goal is to then to manage that incident, inform the right teams, and and ultimately get to a reduced resolution time. So that's really our goal from all this. So this is so that's sort of a little bit about Dynatrace. And so what we do, and that's why we partner, is that we have great information, we have great knowledge, but then managing the people side, managing the processes, informing the teams, having the full audit trail, all those analytics, postmortems. That's really where SIGNL4 comes in, to really complement this solution.
We can.
Excellent. Okay, so what we're going to do today is kind of explore SIGNL4 a little bit. I want to show you the web portal, how alerts are raised through the mobile app, give you a general overview of the workflows within SIGNL4. Then what we'll do is raise some problems over in Dynatrace and show you that complete workflow. Okay. So first of all, when you sign up for SIGNL4, you're automatically assigned a team. What we're seeing here on the screen in the web portal on the left is two different teams, the Jedi Masters and the Superheroes team. Okay. Now, SIGNL4 can connect with any system that's out there, either through receiving an email from that third-party system or the webhook itself. But what really sets SIGNL4 aside is our connector apps. Okay, and this is where we've worked with Dynatrace here to pull in that two-way communication. Okay, So getting started with the integration, a lot of times it's kind of cumbersome. You have to go back and forth, is how this stuff works. We make it super simple here. So if we look at our Dynatrace connector, we only need a few pieces of information. So if I edit this, we see the instance URL of my Dynatrace instance. Of course, there's an API key for authentication purposes. And then we start looking at what exactly it is that we're trying to alert on. Okay. Ronald talked about it earlier about filtering through that noise. I'm getting too many alerts all the time. We're able to actually go through, read the problems that come in, and is it an availability? Is it an error? Is it a performance problem? We're able to kind of differentiate the different problems that occur within Dynatrace and then make sure that we're routing that over to the right people. Okay. When we talk about people, onboarding members on SIGNL4 is very, very simple. All we need to do is send them an email to invite them into our team. At that point, they download the mobile app. They're going to be able to punch in on duty, punch out, and actually start receiving alerts that they're assigned to based off of some of the categories that we have. Okay. Now, one of the things that is always a big topic is how do the alerts get routed to the right people? Okay, well, the shift in duty settings that we have here within SIGNL4, all we have to do is simply come in. I'm currently on duty right now. All right, so if I wanted to put Robert on duty, I'm just going to click into his section. We can drag this around. Of course, we have a 30-minute, 1 day, and a 1 hour view. The copy mode makes it super simple. You make the schedule for a week, you copy it over for a month. You can make it for a month, you copy it for a year type thing. Very, very simple. But the nice thing about this scheduler here is when the initial time hits, it's automatically going to punch the users in as on duty. We see that over here on the mobile. I'm punched in on duty now because my time has come up. I didn't have to do anything about that. Okay, so that reliable alerting, making sure that people are getting on, we take care of all that for you. Of course, once my shift ends, it's going to punch me out. And then at this point, Robert would take over because he's on duty a little bit longer than I am. Okay. So covers the reliability part of it, making sure that people are on duty. There is a 2-tier escalation method within SIGNL4. The first time that when you're using the scheduler here, you're punched in as on duty. You're the first tiered response. Okay. There is a manager setting that you can punch in as a manager and have that escalation. So if the alert goes unacknowledged, then the managers will start getting alerted. Okay. So once we're on duty, we're on the shift here. I'm going to go ahead and raise a couple of problems, or raise a problem here within Dynatrace. Okay, so here's my instance, and I'm just going to use Rester to kind of simulate an event that comes through. This is an availability event coming from the specific host, and basically the VPN is down. Network drives are unreachable at this point. If we come over, we see in the mobile app, I've already been alerted here. So we see the alert come through. Here it is over here on the web portal as well. So given that full transparency of what's going on, who's being alerted, we make sure that's, just because you're not on duty doesn't mean you can't come in, kind of monitor things through the web portal if you need to. So when I take a look at what we received over here from Dynatrace, this is an availability event here, the problem ID, this is infrastructure, the status is open, here's the host that was actually, that the problem occurred on. All this information kind of comes through. SIGNL4 puts it in nice little neat boxes. Okay, so you can quickly at a glance see where the problem exists and what you need to do to go in and resolve it. Now I'm going to come down here to the bottom and I'm going to put an annotation in here. All right, I want to let my team know that I'm working on this issue. So I'm going to say I'm working on it. All right. I'm going to push this over. Now, anybody else that's on duty right now has just received a push notification saying that, hey, Patrick's working on this issue. Now, right now, this alert is still new, still in a new status here. I'm going to click on the question mark and it's going to put my profile picture up there and that's acknowledge the alert. It's going to stop the workflow from going out and the persistent notifications that exist within SIGNL4. We see it here in the list view as well. All right, so any team members can come in, take a look at the list view. They know that I'm working on this because they see my profile picture here. Now, what happened over here in Dynatrace? Let's take a look at the problems again. All right, so here's the problem arised. And so here's our availability event that we sent through. Couple of things happened. Okay, so when we talk about the transparency of who's working on an issue, we don't want to have multiple engineers tackling the same problem all the time. So I've acknowledged it in SIGNL4, that's fine, but what happens if, you know, somebody's looking directly within Dynatrace? This is where the two-way connectivity from the connector app comes into play. Okay, so Patrick from Patrick Casey, that's me, I'm working on it. Here's the annotation that I put in. Okay, and the problem was actually confirmed here. So anybody within the system can look into Dynatrace, see that, hey, this alert has a problem has occurred. The alert's gone out and Patrick's working on it. Okay. Now, just because I'm working on it and maybe I'm the guy who drew the short straw and had the on-call duty shift here, one of the real nice things about the mobile app is I can go through and take a look at my superheroes team. Even though Robert's not on duty, I still have that ad hoc collaboration that if I need help with this issue, I can quickly go in, send him an email, give him a call, shoot him over a text message here, and he can help me work on this issue. Okay, so no more fumbling through, who's the on-call person, who's the escalation point, things like that. Any of the members of your team are going to be able to quickly connect you to your team members there. Okay. So, next thing we'll do, all right, so I've talked to Robert. He's told me what I need to do to fix it. That's fine. I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna close this alert out now. All right, when I close it out, it grays it out, so everyone knows that, hey, this one is completed here. And if I refresh the screen here in Dynatrace, it changes the problem status, okay? So this was an open problem there. It's now green. We know that it's worked on here. It was manually closed, and all of the transparency of what happened here is written back, okay? So there's kind of the workflow, real simple to onboard people, send them an email, we'll put them on the duty schedule real quick, just by clicking in their name. Once they're on duty, they're going to start receiving these alerts coming through, full transparency and ad hoc collaboration there.
That was great. That was a great demo, and I was just kind of laughing that you said Robert was on call for a year, and I was like, oh, no, I don't want to be on call for a year. But anyway, yeah, and I think that's really is, I think that's representative of what we want to do. I know we had a very simple problem there that was simulated, but that's where that integration is immediate. It's going right into to SIGNL4, and there's a lot of metadata that goes along with that problem to kind of route it to the right team. So Dynatrace has a lot of the ability of tagging the infrastructure, whether that's coming from AWS tags on a cloud infrastructure or tagging rules through metadata environment variables. So really in larger environments, because this is what we're trying to do here is scale. So we need, so part of it is, organizing your infrastructure. It could be CMDB type of tagging. It could be custom tagging to have application owners, teams, classifications of prod, non-prod, business critical, et cetera. And that all gets passed along to then decide what to do with that and what to do with this particular incident, because we inform, but we don't make decisions on that. And that's where SIGNL4, can parse that data. As you saw, the data can be brought in automatically into the incident itself, and then with that bidirectional comments. So if the users, some users may be in Dynatrace and they're looking there, they have all the information at their fingertips. If they're back on, they're on the mobile device, they can, have a hyperlink back into the problem card itself on Dynatrace. So really it's around, putting information quickly in people's hands so they can resolve issues and then collaborate.
Yeah, and I think for the tagging you have mentioned, we can map this tagging to different categories that will reflect as different icons and colors in the app. Yeah, so that is a very nice way to make it possible for a user to see on the first sight what is the problem about and maybe how critical it is. Yeah, so here we see
Exactly
what's-
right. Yeah, that's great. Yep. Yeah, and that's really, yeah, I like the little, right. So that's where, you know, your how your organization maps, you know, these things, you know, could be totally customized for your needs, right? So depending on, you know, who's on call, how you route it, you know, things like that. That's the flexibility you have.
But maybe you can show the who is on call panel. Yeah, so because that's a nice way to put the panel to SharePoint or to any intranet site where people can see immediately who is on call in different teams. And yeah, from there you can then call that person or know what's going on there, for example. It's a feature that is quite often
Yeah, that makes
used.
a lot of sense. Because teams, you know, they may have a Confluence page or other types of pages, and to have it, you know, synchronized to know who's the responsible party.
Mm.
That's a great feature. Absolutely.
Yeah, here
Yep,
you see.
we're seeing it here in the web portal, but of course there is a public URL that we can use for this. So, you know, putting this up on SharePoint, like you said, or, you know, just having this somewhere visible for all the team members. When you have multiple teams in there, this, of course, is going to adjust and fill out. Robert's on duty here for the Jedi Masters team. I'm on duty for the superheroes. Quickly at a glance, we know, hey, here's the person that's responsible for this particular team. Here's the number that they can be reached, things like that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because I think everyone working from home and having flexibility. You know, you don't know where you're going to be. You could be out shopping, and you get notified about an issue. Yeah, so I think it's right. I think people, that is the work mode we're all in. You know, collaboration, being flexible. You know, having you know, having the team be able to respond quickly. Absolutely. You know, and that's you know, where a new platform as well, through APIs, really, that's where integrations are really possible. So you're calling our API, you know, we're calling your API. So it's really, you know, APIs really allow, you know, solutions to be put together quickly, and you know, and I like how, you know, you know, you expose your platform with deep links and context. So I think that's you know, really, you know, makes it useful and allows a lot of teams to adopt it easily. Like you said, keep it simple.
Mm.
So that's perfect. So right, so you know, you can see both of us, you know, have a SaaS offering. So definitely, you know, check it out. You know, you can sign up and try these things in action. You know, the Dynatrace Hub is a hyperlink, or you can just Google search and find the SIGNL4 integration for Dynatrace. It's very simple to set up, so you could easily should do what was demoed, where you could, you know, trigger a problem, you know, manage the team, see the on-call schedule, so you can really just, you know, really try out both platforms pretty easily, and see what we were showing today.